Hey, it's Will. It is windy, a tiny bit humid, just a tiny bit humid. And the temperatures are real nice. I wanted to get out this morning because there's blue skies before a storm with the wind that basically just clears everything out. Then the rain will come in later today and really wash everything, which will be nice for Tuesday. But this time of the day, it's kind of nice because it's kind of dark. I mean, the sky isn't black, yet the lights are still on. So looking south towards 59th Street, you can see some of the tower lights are still on, or the skyscraper lights are still on, which is just kind of cool against a blue, good deep blue sky. Street lights are on. You can just hear the wind rustling through the trees. And my guess is by this time on Tuesday, this sound, walking through leaves on the ground, is going to get a whole lot louder, more. There's going to be leaves everywhere. It's dark enough that I have my watch on blinking mode, but not so dark that I'm wearing like a headlamp or something like that. That's more just for safety. It's like a Monet painting with the lights on the other side of the lake here, and with all the ripples in the water. I created a Midjourney image a long time ago when they first came out, and it was kind of the hot thing to do. And it was Upper West Side, Central Park, in the rain, painted like Monet. So it kind of reminds me of. And quite honestly, it wasn't too far off. So it ended yesterday talking about this transition to upon consideration. I think I took that same picture yesterday, so I'll see if I can compare the two with the calm waters versus choppy waters, which we've likely all seen before. Upon consideration. Yeah, I'm a business guy, so as much as I want to journal and reflect and think about the audience of one as me. Grab this photo so you can see what I mean by the skyscrapers and the lights still on against what's now a very cloudy background. They think the storm's going to hit probably like around 2, at least hit the city around 2 today, 2 in the afternoon, which has been pretty consistent. A lot of times, so close to the ocean, all these forecasts start to shift around quite a bit, especially as we get closer and closer to the storm itself. Not this time, it's been pretty consistent. Been pretty accurate. We had a little bit of rain yesterday. Lots of wind this morning. Yeah, 2 o'clock. And tomorrow's a federal holiday. So if tomorrow's the big event, then just sit home and watch it. Airplanes more or less go up and down, at least fly over up and down the east and Hudson rivers. So when you see one going right down the center of Manhattan, it's a little weird. So I'm a business guy, and I've worked in a ton of places, which is not a good thing. But we've lived in a bunch of places, and traveled to different cities around the world, lived all across the United States. Ooh, this will be a good one. This is like right outside the clearing. It's framed by the trees and the buildings. We'll see how that one turns out. Let's see if I can grab one more here. This one, I'm trying to get that big glass building on the Upper West Side. There's a couple lights on, along with the older brick buildings below. That's a photo of the plane going right down the middle of Manhattan. You also hear that I probably pick up that I take more than one shot. You know, part of that is because it's digital and I can. That cost of that second shot is 0, marginal. When I came out of my surgery, I had the handshakes. And so I kind of got used to shooting at a higher shutter speed and taking 2-3 shots, bang, 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 just to make sure if I could get one in focus or have a better chance of getting one in focus. So yeah, we moved a lot. Changed jobs. I mean, it's not like I'm there for like a year and a half or something. I'm usually there for 5+ years and then move on. Some of that is because it's just no longer a good fit. Some of it's because there's a better opportunity. Some of it's because we want to move to a different area, and there's just a better And I just thought they're just better suited for us as a family. So I'm not the type of person that is afraid of change, and whether that's kind of work related or life related, it's coming. It's coming for all of us. Change, and if we don't accept that and own it, then somebody else is going to make that change for us. So sometimes it's good to accept it, and if it's the right decision to make, then be in front of it, take ownership of it. I saw that there was a new Beatles, I don't know what they call it, documentary. I saw some of the cast members, or at least the alleged cast members. You can never tell these days. Alleged cast members should look like a really strong lineup. Just thinking of John and the Beatles. I'm coming up on the Dakota building here in a second. It's pretty cool getting up in the morning and there's no one parked in front of places that are usually tough to get because there's a stupid car parked right there. So yeah, change. So I've been writing this. I don't know if it's a journal, considered a journal, or if it's a reflection, or maybe it's all the same thing. I don't know. But letters to me has been exactly that, like things I've just wanted to write to myself. Yeah, you can see the American flag on top of the Dakota building. It is whipping around. Yeah, there will be no sunshine on the side of these buildings today, and probably for the next couple of days. I think those green bulbs on the subway, they mean something. I think if they're full green, then that subway stop, like the Globe, I think they operate 24/7. I think if they're red, they don't operate on that side. So we're kind of in this age of, I don't know, AI slop. And, as far as last week with the last couple of weeks, OpenAI introducing Sora and Meta introducing Vibes, and we're clearly just leaning into it. And we're making the assumption that, I think we're making the assumption that we're going to be able to tell the difference between what slop is as it gets better and better, what slop is and what it's not. So I think, writing about these, writing letters to me was a way for me to reflect in a year or two about what I was thinking. There's this post I wrote about doing 90% of your work 100% of the time. In other words, are you set up to be able to do really the majority of your work, personal or professional, if you're not sitting in front of a monitor? Oh yeah, today's open streets close off streets in New York and put food booths and stalls, and literally they close the streets down to traffic, to auto traffic, and it's just a pedestrian walkway. I don't know if they're going to have that today with the storm coming in. I think I was looking back and saying wow, 10 years ago, or however long that article was posted, 10 years ago, I thought this way. Is that still true? Do we still think that we should be able to do all of our work, at almost anywhere, anytime that we're at, if we want to? I'm not suggesting that we do that, or that we're obligated to do that. And of course, it depends on the role, right? What your quote-unquote job to be done is. I cannot get over that there's a light in the middle of 72nd Street between Columbus and Amsterdam. Speaking of change, that's a wild one. So reflecting back on that, yeah, that's something that I still believe in. And, with technology today, it's more and more true that, put a pair of headphones in, pair them to your watch, and you can go on a walk and not miss a beat. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not going to get into that. Rather, is that something if you wanted to do, you could do? And that answer is yes. So thinking back about articles like that I've written in a certain time, has always been important to me. Oh, there's a pack of 20 kids coming the opposite direction. And nobody's walking on the right. I made it. My obituary would have been that I got jumped by a bunch of kids by Grace Papaya. It's bright enough now where I can turn off my watch light. I think the challenge to having letters to me being not the focal point, is reflections and so forth, which I think was the right decision. Which you are your brand, or you are your own unique value in the world. If there's one thing that's not replicable, it's you. In this case, me. It seemed like it made a lot of sense. And in today's world, where we're making all this AI slop, that continues to be, the right differentiator, unique, personal, experienced. What's the word? Intentional. Yeah, I just didn't think that it was businessy enough. Like making a business out of that, I just didn't see. I didn't have a commercial appeal. Still having that unique, right? My brand, my viewpoints are still me. I'll reflect back on those articles I wrote a bunch of years ago and highlight those. I feel like I have a good angle, a niche. And given the letters to me has grown over the past couple months quite a bit, and they haven't really posted anything new, I get the feeling that there's something good there. So that's what I'm going to do, is use upon consideration to think of it more as a business. That doesn't mean everything's going to be paid and locked down and all that stuff, not at all. Just to think of it more of as a business than a journal. So if you listen to this, I probably already made that announcement. So this is old news, but thinking back again, kind of reflections. If I take it a year from now, do I look back at this and say, here's what I was thinking, not just what I wrote down or what I posted. Here's actually what I'm thinking. I think that'll be helpful for me, and hopefully for someone like you, if that's something that you're interested in too. Now, no new thing, no new project comes without challenges. And here's my challenge. Well, I think SEO will be around, in search engines in general, in some form or concept, will be around for a very long time. I don't think the effort placed in it will reward folks. So we've done all this technical SEO and on-page SEO. I'm not suggesting that stuff isn't valuable. I don't think it's as valuable going forward. I don't think people are going to care as much. So that's point one. Point two, I really want to create, intimacy is the wrong word, relationship. I really want to create a relationship with all the viewers and subscribers and listeners and readers, watchers, all that. I know that's not scalable, or I know that's thought of as not scalable. I think I want to challenge that one too. I think it is. And the third thing is like, how do you make this a full-time thing? Like, take the creator piece out of it, the creator economy, and that language and positioning and context. And more of like, put your money where your mouth is. So trying to figure out that monetization strategy is, right? I mean, you look at Substack and they've got, I forget what they call them, but it's more or less investor profiles. I'm totally using the wrong word. It's where you put in a bigger amount of money one time to really help as a, almost as a co-founder, a financial co-founder, right? That might be I use investor because really the value there is you trust the individual, you're investing in the individual, and here's money to help them with that. I can't give you any kind of business advice or anything like that. However, I can give you $1,500 to get this thing started. There's obviously subscriber models. Right? You can pay monthly, quarterly, annually, and probably get discounted rates on whichever you do. Future cash flow, in effect. There's donation models. Everything's free, right? Just if you feel like you donate one time or monthly. And there's advertising models or brand sponsorship models. And you'll find somebody who is, in alignment with how I think and who my audience is, and they pay me to put their messaging in my content that gets in front of you. Or it's a mix of all of them, or maybe different ones at different times. That's the challenge I'm going through. It's a long weekend, so I'm pretty confident I'll figure it out by the time this goes live. See you then.